into the steward exercise. Deputy steward, by the way, is the eye that emerges out of magnetic center that doesn't have real authority, but it's been given authority by the magnetic center. Somebody has to step forward and start doing something. When I went to Phoenix to work with a bunch of doctors over there the first time, we gathered around the house, and I said, now, how's your deputy stewards? And they all looked at me kind of drop-jawed like, what are you talking about, Russ? I'm supposed to appoint this guy? I've been sitting around waiting it to show up. Well, how ever work's going to ever get done if you don't appoint somebody in yourself? These guys would sit around every Wednesday and talk about what they're going to do this week, and nobody would do anything. Because they had no deputy steward. Nobody stood forward and said, hey, weren't we supposed to read today? Weren't we supposed to read this by next week? Come on, guys, we're supposed to read this. Let's read this. Knowing that the rest of the machine's probably going to know I'm too busy, I'm a doctor, I got patients, I got to go to the ball. No. Remember we said we were going to read this. It won't take long, let's just read a page or two. Some eye has to start exerting itself to try and get the rest of the machine to start working. It might not be the real steward yet, but at least it's been given authority by the magnetic center, because the deputy steward is one eye in the magnetic center that's at least been empowered by the rest of the magnetic center to try to get the house in some kind of an order. When these guys heard this, they went, geez, Russ, we've never thought of that. Well, how's it ever going to change if you don't empower something and you to say, I'm going to read, or I'm going to do an exercise, or, pick a center when I leave? Who's going to do that if the deputy steward doesn't say, hey, we're supposed to pick a center? Okay. I mean, if you don't emerge something from yourself to start doing something, then all you're doing is going through magnetic center moments. You're never developing the machine. You have to run off to the beach every time to get a magnetic center moment from the water, but you don't do anything in between. Most people are like that, so now their whole life is to go bungee jumping or to go to this thrill or to that thrill, because all they have accumulated is a bunch of magnetic center moments, but they haven't done anything with it. They haven't empowered any eye in themselves to try to get the rest of the machine, to coerce it. To say, let's just read a paragraph, one of the little sections and views, then we can go play ball. Just a little bit, just to something. And who knows, if that deputy steward gets the machine going, it might read more than that. It might actually get involved and find it interesting and read 2 pages instead of just a paragraph. But it ain't going to read anything unless somebody steps forward in the machine and says, come on, guys, just a little bit. Let's do an extra text in 5 minutes, 2 minutes. That ain't much time. We can do that. Okay. Somebody has to begin. That's deputy steward. Somebody has to stand forward. Somebody has to say, we're on this great work. We've encountered these magnetic center moments. We know about higher. What are we going to do toward it? Are we going to do something today toward it? Did you pick an exercise for the day? Did you do these things on yourself? What are you waiting for, the clouds to part and some benevolent thing to come down to make you? It ain't going to happen that way. You've got to empower something in yourself and start exerting it to say, as many times as during the day as possible, hey, have we did an exercise? We haven't done an IM today. Let's do an IM. We haven't read anything today. Let's read a little bit. Somebody has to stand forward. That's deputy steward. Okay, now we're to steward. This is when a man wakes. But in order to awaken, a man has to do some preparatory work to get the machine ready for awakening. So we call these exercises for the preparation and development of steward. It starts with intentional observation. And that, of course, was the first exercise I gave you when you came here. Was not just to observe yourself, but to pick a center and observe that center. Bring all your attention to either movement or emotion or to feeling. Intentionally develop that center, knowing, as we've already learned, nature's not going to do it for us. Reason's already destroyed all the things that would be needed to observe, to exist. The roads are all paved and the dangerous animals are all gone, so there's no reason to observe unless we understand the model and see why we lost our conscience. Now we can intentionally say, there are no saber-toothed tigers, Russ, but I can pretend there are, and I can listen for them, and I can watch for them, I can be aware, I can use that center, I can bring intentional observation to that one center and develop it even though there's no reason to, and there's no danger.